Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Vakil. Here are the headlines. Indian markets mirror Asian peers to start the week on a positive note. Metal stocks lead the list of gainers. Short covering seen in Kaveri Seed Company while Piramal Enterprises sees longs unwind. Realty Index is among the top gainers today after the GST Council lowers taxes on under construction and affordable housing projects. Jet Airways is down in trade despite shareholders approving the restructuring plan after two more planes are grounded following non-payment.
Let's take a look at what the markets are doing. Nothing much coming as far as the Nifty is concerned. It's absolutely flat in trade. It's up just 10 points the last time I checked. So there is hardly any kind of traction. It's up 20 points. Pull up the Nifty Bank and see what traction we're seeing on the Nifty Bank. And we can see that, even there, it isn't as exciting as the other parts of the market. So the Nifty Bank is up 100 points, doing slightly better than the Nifty. Now, where are positions being taken? You can see that from 10,800 to high levels, call writers are absolutely aggressive, and from 10,700 to lower level, it's the put writer. So the range seems to be in and around the 10,800 mark at this point of time. Let's take a look at what's happened in trade today. You can see that at 10,800 and 10,900, both call writers and put writers are active. At lower levels, put writers are seeing shedding of open interest in some of the positions. But Agam, on the future side, what are you spotting?
Well, on the future side, again, there's a lot of stocks out there which are in focus. We will be talking about perhaps stocks like Motherson Sumi and Kaveri Seed Company in a bit, because there certainly has been a lot of action. Now, Kaveri Seed Company has resumed its down move and it's up 11% in open interest. It did move out of the F&O ban on Friday, but once again, we're going to have to see whether or not it moves back in. Hexaware is the other one, along with DLF, which is in focus, and so is Tata Chemicals. While their spot prices haven't moved too much, there certainly is increase in open interest there. And Mahanagar Gas is the other one, which is also in focus, considering, well, flattish movements again, but, accumulation there. And again, given the fact that we are going to see expiry come through, we're seeing considerable unwinding in Piramal Enterprises, Yes Bank, Indiabulls Housing Finance. So I'm going to be watching out for a bunch of these stocks as we move into trade today, Darshan. Okay,
those are the stocks that are looking that we need to watch out for. But let's take a look at some of the stocks that we want to discuss in today's trade. There is Kajaria Ceramics, which has managed to move in higher post the GST. So the real estate companies didn't rally that much, but Kajaria has managed to move up 3% in trade. Adani Ports is down 6% post acquiring a company from Adani Enterprises. So Adani Ports is in focus. Steel stocks are doing well. So we ask our guest which is the better pick, JSW Steel or Tata Steel. Kaveri Seeds, again, the selling pressure continues. It's down another 3 or 4% the last time I checked. So there is selling that's happening. Motherson Sumi had a big block deal of 12 lakh shares in a single block on Friday. Post that deal, Motherson Sumi seems to be doing well. It's up 7% now. We'll talk about that. And we'll also talk about Ultratech Cement. So those are the stocks that we need to talk about. So before we get our guest on the show, here's a reminder, if you have any queries regarding futures and option market, call us on 022 45404141. Write to us on Twitter, Facebook with the AskBQ hashtag.
And on that note, let's get in our experts for the day. We have Amar Singh of Angel Broking and Brijesh Singh of StockAxis joining us on the show. Good morning and thank you both for joining us. Well, Amar, let me begin with you. How are you reading cues now? Do you expect some consolidation on the Nifty?
Yeah, I would say that if you look at Nifty, Nifty's been tied in a range on the downside, 10,600 on the upside, I would say 10,900. So somewhere or the other, there is this temporary respite that which we are seeing. So Nifty is managing to sustain above the 10,800 mark, but ideally Nifty needs to trade and close above 10,830, 840 levels, because that's a crucial resistance zone. Because if that is taken out, then those on the short side, their stop losses could get triggered and we could see some spike in the market. And also this being the expiry week, we'll definitely see some increased volatility. As far as the trend is concerned, I would say the trend definitely remains flat across different time frames. That's the reason we are seeing this seesaw in the indices.
Okay, that's Amar's view. Let's get in a view as far as Brijesh is concerned. Brijesh, good morning. What's your view on the Nifty or the Bank Nifty?
Good morning, Darshan. See, Darshan, Nifty, the range from Jan till now, it's been somewhere around 10,600 or say 10,650 on a downside, followed by 10,950 to 10,985 on the higher side. But the trend decider is 10,840 to 10,860 band. And in generally we speak in Hindi कि ऊंट किस करवट बैठेगा वो डिपेंड करता है this 10,840 to 860 band. If we are able to cross this thing, then definitely we can see upside of say 100 and 150 point. If we are not able to give closing above this 10,840 to 860 band in a day and two, then there are chances that we might see another sell-off, which might try to drift Nifty to the level of 10,700 or say 10,720. So for a very short-term time frame, what I am been looking, any rise above 10,830 on a future expect, one can go for a sell side with the strict stop loss of 10,860 and play for the target of 10,720 or say 10,750 zone.
So those are the two views coming in, and of course Brijesh has also given us a strategy on the Nifty. But let's move in and talk about some of those stocks. Amar, I'm going to come back to you. What stocks are you betting on today's Jeff trade?
I would say the first one is UPL. If you look at UPL on the charts, the stock continues to remain extremely strong across different time frames. And once it reached the 820 resistance level, because that was where it was consolidating for many days, so that's been taken out, and the stock is currently around 840 odd levels. And even on the weekly charts as well as the long-term charts, the stock holds positive momentum. So any dip in UPL towards 827, 829 is a very good level to buy, with a stop loss of 804 and a target of 874 on the upside. And the second stock to look at is from the IT space, and that is Wipro. Because if you look at Wipro, what we are seeing is that Wipro continued to consolidate, came down to as low as 360, 365 levels, and then is currently around 380 odd levels. Technically, it's very strong on the long-term charts, weekly as well as the monthly and other time frames. Daily, we are seeing some consolidation, but I would say that still any pullback should be used as a buying opportunity in Wipro. So ideally, a good level to buy Wipro is around 374, 376 levels, with a stop loss of 361 and a target of 401 on the upside.
All right, so that's Amar's calls for the day. Brijesh, what about you?
See, I have two calls. One would be RBL Bank on a buy side, followed by Bharti Infra on a sell side. What I have witnessed in the RBL Bank is that the stock had given a bounce back from a level of 545 on a shorter time frame, making a double bottom formation, and it has moved up. Right now, the stock has been quoting somewhere around 568, and it dips below 565. One can go for a buy side with the stop loss of 554 and play for the target of 585 to 588. Time frame to hold would be 2 to 4 trading session. Whereas on the Bharti Infratile has been concerned, on the higher time frame, stock is still maintaining its lower highs formation. Even the oscillators has given the lower highs formations right now, with increase in volume giving a sell signal. So somewhere around 309 to 310 band, one can go for a sell side with the stop loss of 319 and play for the target of 295 to 296. Time frame would be again one day or 2 days.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the stocks that we want to discuss. Let's start with Motherson Sumi. That's the big move that's happening. It managed to rally on Friday. It's up another 8% in trade today. Open interest buildup is very negligible. It's trading at a discount on the futures, and there was this big 12 lakh block deal that happened in a single block on Friday, and post that Motherson Sumi hasn't looked back, so it's managing to rally significantly. But is this low open interest buildup a sort of a concern? We'll ask our guests. So Brijesh, I'll come to you. Motherson Sumi, it's managing to move on, but open interest buildup is not very high. What does the F&O setup indicate?
See, Darshan, the movement on the higher side with the price, with the volume, it's indicate the strong, and no doubt there would be from a OI has been concerned that we have not seen the strong build up on the OI has been concerned. But the previous swings high has been crossed very easily. The previous swing high was somewhere around 143 to 148 band. Now, if someone wants to go for a long side at the present rate of 154, one can go, or any day some 152 one can go for a long side with the stop loss of 148 and play for the target of 165 to 166 rupees. I'm looking this target achieving in a day or two.
Okay,
right.
yeah. That's Motherson Sumi for you. That's moved up significantly. Amar, you have a view on Motherson Sumi?
I would say that Motherson Sumi definitely looks positive on the short-term charts, and the way it has bounced back on the clearly shows that even on the weekly charts there is bullish divergence for the stock. On the upside, I would say towards 160, 162, that's a level of resistance. If that is taken out, then the stock could trade higher towards 175, 180 levels.
All right, so that's the view on Motherson Sumi. It's continuing to move higher as we speak. It's now up 8.5%, and of course, our day is high, so we'll continue to get more developments there. But let's move on and talk about Kaveri Seed Company then. And this one is again a very curious one. Now, while it has seen a lot of volatility after, from what we understand is that one of the states had revoked licenses of the company, not just Kaveri Seed Company, but also a whole host of other companies out there. And of course, I'm talking about Kaveri Seed Company, not Kajaria Ceramics. I think we should have that plate up ahead for you. And we can have Kaveri Seed Company play. Now, that stock is under pressure today. And as I was suggesting, it's got a lot of, it's seen a lot of volatility. Today, it's down another 2.6%. And as I've already suggested, it moved out of the F&O ban last Friday. Now, today, it's out of the ban. But, you know, if we do see the sustained increase in OI today, there is always that possibility of moving back. Now, on a one-month basis, as you can see, it's down as much as 33% because of fundamental reasons and news flow, and it is under pressure. The real question is, have things changed now a little more towards the worst, and can we expect even more weakness? Amar, let me come to you and take up Kaveri Seed Company with you. It's currently at 392. That's where its underlying is. How would you go about dealing with Kaveri Seed?
I would say that it seems that Kaveri Seed has made its low, and the low that it has made is very likely to hold. And yes, it is weak on the daily charts, but there is a very high probability that once the stock is currently around 392 levels, but once the stock starts trading above 400 levels, then I would say 400, 410 levels, we could say that the trend definitely has changed for the stock, and the stock is poised to trade higher, and the downside which the stock had made of 380, 283, that should act as an immediate bottom for the stock. So there's a very high probability of reversal of Kaveri Seeds from the current levels.
Okay, so there is a possibility of reversal. The other stock that we want to discuss is Kajaria Ceramics. Now, while GST on real estate cut that came out did not, find a lot of enthusiasm among real estate companies, because that most of the companies have cooled off. Kajaria Ceramics continues to do well, given the fact that it's a real estate ancillary as such, one of the largest tile companies. But the open interest buildup is absolutely negligible in trade today. So, Amar, I'll come to you. What do you make of Kajaria Ceramics? It's at 540. Should one place a bet at this point of time, or wait for the counter to correct?
Kajaria Ceramics, on the daily charts, the stock has got very strong resistance coming around 550, 555 zone. Currently, it's around 540 odd levels, and the stock has also got very strong support coming around 500. So the stock is tied in a range. I would say that 550, 560 on the upside, and 500, 510 on the downside. And looking at the charts on the daily clearly show that there is a potential for the stock to rally, but trading above 550, 560 isn't going to be easy for the stock, because on the long-term charts, I would say the stock has a possibility that it could meet with resistance, and some profit booking could come around 550, 560 levels. So not a good level to buy, because the risk-reward ratio wouldn't work in one's favor.
Okay, so that's your view on Kajaria Ceramics, and moving on to Tata Steel now. In fact, a whole host of these steel companies are in focus today. Of course, so we all know that iron ore prices and prices of iron in general are rising globally, and there are some advantages which are playing out for some of these steel companies. Tata Steel is making a gain for the 5th straight day today, even though it's gaining just by 0.5%. That's the open interest for the February futures. If we can also have the March futures up for you and take a look at whether or not there's actually accumulation coming along, because as far as February futures go, there have been about 31 million shares coming coming through. March futures, I'm sure, will have starting to pick up, and there you have it. There's 6 million shares added there. So there certainly is some amount of rollover taking place for Tata Steel towards longs, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll be watching out for some of these companies as we move into trade today. Now, again, after the kind of reversal, the real question is, where does Tata Steel go from here? Naturally, there will be a lot of interest coming through. Brijesh, very recently, in fact, in January, we did see Tata Steel, linger around below the mark of 450. It's now above 507, and it has been a gradual increase, even though there has been substantial volatility. Where do we go from here? What is your view on Tata Steel now?
See, Agam, for a short term, it's been concerned, this level of 505 to 507 would be acting as a resistance, but that doesn't mean that trend is being over. Right now, I was been looking the rollover right now, it's been somewhere around 15% and above from a FAB series to the Mars series. Shorter term time frame, stock had made the high lows formation. 440 below was a low. After that, 460 was a low. From 460 onward, it's a one-way sort of rally to the level of 500 plus. So at the present rate, I would be avoiding, because the risk reward ratio is not in the favor. But if it trades somewhere around 500 and below that, definitely one can look out to buy this counter with the stop loss of 485 and play for the target of 515. That would be the first resistance zone. But the tough resistance zone would be somewhere around 530 to 535 band, where from the previous highs are there, from where we have seen a stock, a profit booking coming and making a low of 440. So overall, avoid at this rate. Let it trades below 500 for a long side with the stop loss of 485. Play for the target of 515 followed by 535.
Okay, Amar, what's your view on on the steel space? Which is the best bet that if someone has to take a bet, should they buy Tata Steel, should they buy JSW Steel, JSPL or SAIL? Which finds focus for you?
I would say that one can look at GSW Steel. Because GSW Steel, it seems that the momentum is comparatively stronger and it's currently on 391, 92 odd levels. So there is a potential that the stock could rally towards 300 and 305 levels, and technically also it has taken very strong support at lower levels. So there is a possibility that the stock could rally, but one needs to remember that these are pullbacks, because the trend overall, if you look at the trend still on the intermediate term remains bearish. So this is more of short covering which is happening, because higher levels towards be it GSW Steel 310, 315, that's a level of resistance. So one can ideally look at booking profits around those levels.
Okay, some of the other stocks that we want to talk about, and that is Adani Ports. Adani Ports is down in trade post it acquiring an asset from Adani Enterprises. So they will have to take on debt, and it's a leveraged acquisition that has happened. The other point that has also irked investors is that since this is done through a wholly owned subsidiary, the minority shareholders' approval need not be taken, and that's something that's not gone well with the street. Open interest build up of 4% on the downside. We also have a query from Tushar Tiwari. He's saying he's bought Adani Ports 310 put at 2.35 and 300 put at 1.65. So basically, he's bought puts for the negative view. Amar, I'll come to you only. Adani Ports, what's your view? Is there more potential downside, and should Tushar hold the puts?
I would say that, see, from a long-term perspective, yes, Adani Ports seems that there could be some correction in the stock. Only crucial support level for the stock is around 315, 310 zone. On the daily charts, what we are seeing is that the stock is now testing the 320 support zone immediate level, because if that is taken out, then we could see some crack in the stock, and the stock could trade as low as 300 odd levels. So he should ideally hold on to his position and watch out for, because watch out for the break below 320 and above. I would say 342, 43. That's a immediate level of resistance. If it starts trading above that, then it could witness some pullback. But the trend still remains bearish, I would say, from the long-term perspective.
Okay, and on that note, let's move on to Bata India. This is another one. It's been on a relentless upward movement, and it has not only outperformed all the broader market indices, but it just keeps on moving from one strength to another. And the thing at this point is, of course, it's advancing by another 1% today. It's at 1327, and I'm looking at the way it's moved in terms of the chart too. From the levels of around 850 back in October, now at around 1326. So it's a significant up move. The real question is, well, where do you go from here? Because it's a relative strength index. It's 14-day RSI, currently at around 79. I reckon a lot of traders will ask that, is it time to book profits? If not, can we go ahead and perhaps sell some calls on the upper end, or is this up move likely to continue with the kind of strength that we've seen in the recent times, and can there be new long positions be initiated in Bata India? It's up 1%, as I was saying today, and there's also been a lot of traction on the back of volumes in the cash market. It's up 23% in the 6 months. Brijesh, your view on Bata India now, how would you go about trading this one?
See, I was being bullish from a level of 500 in the month of, Jan or Feb, when the stock had broken out from a bullish flag pattern. And the target which I was been looking from that 500 odd level was somewhere around 850. And after that, I initiated another target on the higher side. Even the technical as well as the fundamental, the stock has been looking very much promising. Now, coming with the point of that RSI thing, price are making higher tops and higher bottom formation on the weekly chart. Usually RSI trends to trade above that 70 mark, which is people will think that way it's been an overbought zone. Till that trend of RSI doesn't give closing below that 70, nothing to be worried about. We should think that it's been trading in the stronger hand. Now in today's session, the stock had made 1329 or somewhere around 1330 as a 52-week high, and it still has been moving with the increase in volume. I'm looking stock at least touching 1370 to 1375 in say 5 session or say in a 10 session. Overall trend has been bullish. If someone wants to play for a long side in cash segment, keep a stop loss of say 1225. Any dip or present rate can be used for accumulation purpose. Whereas on the higher side, it has been concerned, 1450 to 1460 band would be acting as a resistance. If someone has a broader view, say for 2 year plus, then the stock can even touch a level of 1700, because the monthly chart is very fantastic. It's giving a target of 1700.
Okay, Brijesh, anything interesting that you're spotting apart from the stocks that we just discussed?
Say, Darshan, if we look out a sale right now in the metallic pack, 4950 or 4960, the stock has been quoting. Present rate can be used for an accumulation purpose with the strict stop loss of 48 rupees 75 paisa and play for the target of 50 rupees 55 paisa. Even the target can be extended to the level of 51 rupees 25 paisa. This I'm looking in a day or two.
Yeah, and Amar, how about you? Anything that pops out on your screen right now?
I would say one can look at Hindustan Zinc because this is one stock which seems to have bottomed out, and also technically looking at the weekly charts as well as the daily charts clearly shows that there is upside to the stock. So one can look at buying any pullback towards 258 levels can be used as a buying opportunity with a stop loss below 252 and a target of 265 on the upside.
All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Amar as well as Brijesh, for joining us and taking us through their views, also helping one of our viewers with their queries. For more updates on the F&O space, you can also check our website out, bloombergqueen.com. And on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the F&O Show, but for more news and updates, stay tuned to Bloomberg Queen Live.